Yes, welcome students. Welcome to Vijay Mohan IAS Academy, and this is Vijay Mohan. Hope everyone is doing well and everyone's preparation is also going well. So if you see, we are in the module of Tspsc Group 1 Mains Paper 4 video course and test series exclusively intended for English medium students, right? And as part of this video course, we are having a discussion about chapter 1 of the Telangana economy. Chapter 1 of the Telangana economy, and we already completed Telangana economy in Hyderabad state, that is development of agriculture, industry, trade, and we are dealing at present the issue of Telangana economy in United AP, that is 1956 to 2014, deprivation and underdevelopment. And even on this issue also, we had completed in the previous video, we already completed about the deprivation that has been observed or that you can observe in the agriculture sector, and what are the various areas or what are the various issues or where are the various issues that you can observe the deprivation and underdevelopment. And we had already seen the related facts and related analysis, and we already solved some of the previous year questions related to deprivation in the agriculture sector, right? And we also saw some of the practice questions, right? So as part of this module today or in this video, I'll be dealing with the deprivation in the industrial sector. Deprivation in the industrial sector. Yeah. So, as you know that in my previous video also, I told you that the deprivation of the Telangana economy as far as the period of United Andhra Pradesh, that is 1956 to 2014, you can observe in some of the main sectors like agriculture sector, industrial sector, and recruitment or employment related issues, and the diversion of surpluses of Telangana to the United AP, right? So these are the main areas where you can observe the deprivation. And as far as the deprivation in the industrial sector is concerned, this aspect is very, very important. Why? Because in 2016 Tspsc Group 1, there was already two questions in a single exam. Two questions were asked on the same topic, that is deprivation of industrial sector. One question is related to nature of industrial growth of Telangana in the United Andhra Pradesh, in the period of United Andhra Pradesh, that is 1956 to 2014. And the second question is related to the deprivation of employment or deprivation of opportunities in the industrial development as far as Telangana people is concerned. So as far as your exam, that is Tspsc Group 1 Paper 4 is concerned, especially from this chapter, the industrial sector, the deprivation that you can observe in the industrial sector of Telangana is very important, right? So in this chapter, basically, first I will tell you, we will deal this issue in two streams. First stream is that first you need to understand what is the nature of industrial growth that has taken place or that has took place in the United AP, that is period from 1956 to 2020. First you need to understand the nature of industrial growth of Telangana area in the United AP. Then after understanding the nature of industrial growth of the Telangana area in United AP, then you will be able to fathom the depth of deprivation, or you will be able to understand the deprivation or discrimination that has happened in the industrial growth, or you can say the opportunities for the people of Telangana is concerned during this particular period. So first I'll tell you about the nature of industrial growth, then I'll tell you about the deprivation that has happened in the industrial sector of Telangana area, right? But before going further, I want to tell you that as far as this issue is concerned, in fact, the issue of the nature of the growth or nature of economy of Telangana in the United AP is concerned, the information in the public domain is very haphazard. That is, it is not been in an orderly fashion, right? So as far as your group 1 is concerned, while writing mains answers, this is very important. Why? Because if information is haphazard and if information is widely spread, then it will take time for you to get into an organized manner. See, for example, if a question has been asked, for example, the same issue that what is the nature of industrial growth that has happened in the Telangana during the United AP's period, you need to have an orderly answer. You need to have an orderly points. Then only you will be able to write it within a given time, within given space, right? So what I observed basically is that there is information in the public domain as far as these issues are concerned, but the issues are in a very haphazard manner. So in our video course, particularly what I try to make is that the information has to be in an orderly fashion. I try to put it in an orderly fashion so that, it will be easy for you to understand the concept and also to write the mains answers as far as questions are concerned. So that is it. Now, if while moving forward, you will understand that how the information has been put in an orderly fashion, so that it will be useful for your mains answer writing. See, whatever I'm again and again is telling that, again and again the same thing is telling that it is not sufficient to have an information as far as group 1 is concerned. The information should be, you should be able to deliver the information in a timely manner, in an orderly manner, in a meaningful way, and in a succinct and in a succinct manner, right? So as I already told you that my effort is that I want to put the information which is available haphazardly in the public domain in an orderly fashion so that it will be useful for your mains examination, right? So now, as I already told you, the first stream of our discussion as far as the industrial growth of Telangana area is concerned, nature of industrial growth. So what is the nature of industrial growth that you can observe in the Telangana area during the period of 1956 to 2014? So we will see what is the nature of growth of income, that is the share of industrial sector of the Telangana area to the total income, or you can say the share of the industrial GSDP to the total GSDP, that is the income. Then investment in industry, what is the transition or what is the journey of the investment in Telangana industry, and employment in industry. So how employment has been increased, whether it is increased or decreased. If it is increased, in what way it has been increased? Is there any deprivation in the employment of industry? Employment in industry is concerned, right? Then environmental conditions. So what are the environmental conditions? What is the nature? What are the industries that has been established and how it has implicated, what are the implications of this industries on the environment? So these are the broad issues that we will see in the nature of industrial growth, and we will go in a periodic manner. Then after the completion of this, then we will see the deprivation, right? So industrial first period is industrial development in undivided Andhra Pradesh from 1956 to 1980, right? So industrial development in Telangana on the eve of formation of undivided AP. So at the particular point of time of formation of Andhra Pradesh, what is the industrial position or what is the industrial situation of Telangana? Industrial development was perceptible in Telangana. So industrial development was perceptible in Telangana by the time of formation of undivided state of Andhra Pradesh, as I already told you. Now industries inherited from Nizam's Hyderabad state. There are several industries that were inherited from the Nizam's Hyderabad state. So it is a healthy situation as far as the industrial ecosystem of Telangana is concerned at the time of formation of Andhra, right? Now, what can you say? Next is dominance of agro-based industries till 1970s. In fact, till 1980s, there is a dominance of agro-based industries in the AP as a whole. Why? Because, and it has concomitant effects or corollary effects on the Telangana industrial development also. See why the dominance of agro-based industry? Because at the time of the merger of Telangana area or at the time of the formation of United Andhra Pradesh, if you observe, the profile of Andhra state is more towards agri-dependent. as far as the Telangana is concerned, it is more industry dependent, or you can say service dependent. So after the merger of these two areas, the picture of United AP has changed, or you can say that the industrial profile of the AP has changed to the dominance of agro-based industries, and it has continued till 1980s, right? So the structure of industrial development has been agro-based till the decade of 1980s. Now, before the formation of United AP, industry in Andhra state was mostly agro-based. So industry in the Andhra state before the formation of Andhra Pradesh is mostly agriculture-based, while in Telangana it was mineral-based or footloose due to connectivity to markets. So the industry of Telangana area before the formation of AP is a mineral-based industry and services-oriented industry due to the connectivity of different markets like domestic market, you can say global market also up to some extent, right? So after the formation of the AP state, the agro-based industries in Andhra region were promoted. So now slowly see the discrimination, how it is panning out, right? After the formation of AP, the agro-based industries in Andhra region were promoted to the extent that they constituted around 75% to the total value added in the industrial sector. So the agro-based industry in the Andhra Pradesh has been promoted to the extent that at one point of time, 75% of the total value added in the industrial sector is coming from the, what you say, agro-based industries. So it has been promoted at the cost of, the agro-based industries has been promoted at the cost of mineral-based industries, service-based industries, you can say up to some extent, or manufacturing-based industries. So this has started. Now we can observe the discrimination which is already started, right? Now the agro-based industries significantly dominated both in terms of employment and output. So during the periods of 1960s, 70s, and 80s, the agro-based industries, the agriculture-based industries, significantly dominated in terms of the employment as well as output, right? So now we'll move to the next aspect. We will see. Yeah. Growth in public sector industry and structural shift in the industrial profile of state. So growth in public sector industry and structural shift in industrial profile of the state. So from 1917 onwards, you can see there is a perceptible shift in the industrial development of Andhra Pradesh and also the Telangana area. So what is that perceptible change? That there is a growth in the public sector industry. There is a growth in the public sector, establishment of public sector industries. And you can particularly observe this in the area around Hyderabad and Rangareddy districts, right? We will see that, right? The structural break, however, see, there is a structural break as we have seen, but however, the structural break in industrial performance for the state took place only in the mid-70s, unlike in the case of All India or other major industrial advanced states, where it happened in mid-60s. So here also there is a lag. The structural break you can observe throughout India during the 60s, mid-60s only. But however, in the Telangana or in the Andhra area, this structural break in the industrial performance has happened during mid-70s only. So we are lagging 1 decade. We are performing slowly, or we have achieved this structural decade after 1 decade of what has happened in the All India or what has happened in the industrially developed states. In other words, you can say there was a prolonged industrial backwardness in Andhra Pradesh till mid-70s, and this has showed effect on the development of Telangana area, development of Telangana's industrial area, development of Telangana's human development indicators, development of Telangana people's employment opportunities, right? So this has all been the deprivations and discrimination that has happened. So if you observe the growth of industrial sector during 1971 to 1981-82, 1971-72 to 1981-82, you can observe it in the below table, right? If you observe this table, there is an improvement as far as every aspect, that is number of units, capital investment in industry, and number of employees from 1971 to 1982, right? And you can, if you observe, there is the improvement is more in Telangana when you compare with the coastal Andhra, right? Yes, Rayalaseema area also witnessed a tremendous growth, but this is because of the base effect, because of the low base that it is having during the 1971. So if you forget Rayalaseema area, now if you observe that there is an improvement as far as number of units, capital investment, and number of employees are concerned from 1971 to 1982 in Telangana area. However, this improvement has been, as I already told you, hijacked or has not been able to provide benefits to the Telangana people, and this is where the deprivation lies. So this is the basically the industrial development scenario of Telangana area during the period from 1956 to 1980s or 1990s, right? Then we will move further to the second period, that is industrial development during 1993, 1994 to 2004, 2005. So this is the completion of the nature of industrial development that has happened in the Telangana area in the period of 1956 to 2014. Right? Based on the above discussion, we will see one of the previous question. And the previous question is that critically appraise the nature of industrial development in Telangana in the past 5 decades with reference to income, with reference to employment, and with reference to environment. The question has been asked in 2016 Tspsc Group 1 exam, right? So in order to solve this kind of question, first I'll briefly tell you the approach. Introduced by mentioning the strong industrial position of Telangana prior to the formation of United Andhra Pradesh. So in the introduction itself, you introduce by saying that Telangana area used to have a strong industrial footprint or ecosystem inherited by Nizam state at the time of the formation of United AP. And you also mentioned the per capita income, average per capita income of Telangana area is more when compared to the Andhra state, and also average tax revenue is also more when compared to the Andhra state, right? Explain the nature of industrial growth in Telangana in terms of income, in terms of employment, and in terms of environment, right? Next, explain the nature of development, how industry has been transitioned from agro-based to what you can say public sector based industry, right? Again, from transition from depending more on industry to services sector, and the share of industrial sector, how the share of industrial sector has declined during the period of 1993 to 2004, 2005. Again, how it has been increased to 31.5% during 2010-11 or 11-12. Then again, how it has been decreased, the share has been decreased. So the nature of industrial growth in terms of income, then in terms of employment also, how the employment has been increased during the 1970s and 80s in the Telangana industries of Telangana area, and what is the position of environment. As we go in the discrimination aspect, we will observe the what has happened in the environment front, what are the industries that has been established in the Telangana area, and how it has affected the environment of the Telangana area briefly. Then you also mentioned the underlying deprivation and discrimination that was meted out to industrial landscape of Telangana. See, in this question, the question was only asking about the nature of development of Telangana's industry. However, you need to mention briefly what is the underlying deprivation and discrimination. Otherwise, you will end up telling that there was growth as far as the number of industrial units, income, and employment is concerned. So in the briefly you mentioned that this is although there is a development in the industrial front, however, the real benefits of the industrial improvement has not been, what do you say, not been used or not been spent or not been given to the people of Telangana area. So this deprivation and discrimination, you just mentioned it briefly, then provide statistics and facts liberally to support your argument, whatever the table that I have given you or I have shown you. Those statistics use liberally to support your argument, then conclude accordingly by saying that yes, there is a development up to some extent, or there is a structural shift that has happened from agro-based to manufacturing, again to services sector. However, the investment climate or the investment opportunities, employment opportunities, and development opportunities has been captured by the outsiders rather than Telangana people, and Telangana people has not benefited much because of this development, right? So this is the way that you have to approach this kind of questions, and this is why particularly I mentioned I could have directly entered the deprivation aspect, but because in order to solve these type of questions, you need to have a background understanding of how the development has happened. The development of Telangana industry has happened in phases. What are the important changes that you can observe in this development trajectory? Now in the next video, we will see about the deprivation or discrimination as well as industrial development of Telangana or industrial profile of Telangana area is concerned, right? Thank you.